All right, team, what's up? Happy Monday. I am Dr. Jeff Moore, currently serving as the CEO of ICE and faculty for the cervical and lumbar spine courses. Thrilled to be here. I am not usually here on a Monday, but it is episode 1000. And I thought it appropriate that I grab the mic and share a few words. So before I do so, a little bit of an update on what's going on in ICE World. This weekend, a couple live courses. If you want to catch Justin Dunaway with total spine thrust manipulation, he will be in Hopewell Junction, New York. That is about an hour and a half, I think, north of New York City. And then lumbar spines going on. Jordan Berry is going to be in Santa Barbara, California. Next weekend, we've got two fitness athlete live courses. So if you've done Essential Foundations or you've done Advanced Concepts and you want to jump into the live course and throw around a barbell with the crew, Zach's going to be down in Hollywood, Florida, outside of Miami. And then Mitch, I believe, is going to be in Kansas City, just outside of Kansas City, Missouri. And then as well, next weekend, we've got cervical spine over in Greenville, I believe. Yeah, Greenville, South Carolina. So a lot of courses, a lot of live courses. We are out there in full swing. So grab one of those over the next couple of weeks. All right, team. It's crazy. It's crazy. So for those of you who don't know the whole story, we won't do that here. It's long and unnecessary. But many years ago, I stumbled on this app called Periscope on a platform called Twitter, and I found that I could share unfiltered ideas live with all of my colleagues. Right. So I realized I could mic up on this platform before there was a lot of live video kind of stuff. And I could just talk about things that I really care about. We can engage and battle things out and have back and forth dialogue in real time. I know this does not sound very exciting now, but it was a big deal back then. Zoom forward to today. Last week, Alan sends me a text and says Monday is going to be episode 1000, right? Just blew my mind. And that doesn't even count the Periscope days, right? That's only the PT on Ice Daily Show. So it's actually a lot more than that. But just thinking about the volume of times we've been able to get on here and share content and engage is just crazy. And to think that we've now got dozens of presenters from the ICE community, sharing their messages with thousands of listeners every day across the globe on every conceivable platform is simply a level of growth that certainly did not cross my mind when I was miking up every morning in Michigan and just rapping about things that I thought were really interesting and worth talking about. So I know that normally at times like this, you're supposed to reminisce, right? And while I appreciate that, I am a lot more excited about where we're going in the future than I am about where we've come in the past. And so, if it's okay with you all, I really want to share some of our promises to you. I think about how much time and attention, when I think about that volume of episodes, one of the things I can't shake is just thinking about how much time and attention, how much invaluable time and attention you all have given us to tune in every day on your commutes, catching it at break, and then being willing to engage, and hitting us up with emails and thoughts and resources. Like that means a ton, right? That you want to bless us with that time and attention. And I want to make sure we're always holding ourselves accountable every step forward, that we're going to keep giving back and rising up to meet that commitment. So what I have for you today is not reminiscing about where we've come, but promises about where we're going to go. In the desire and the ask that you'll hold us accountable to these promises, so the show continues to be as meaningful every year going forward from now as it has every year up until now. Promise number one: the show will continue to avoid sponsorship. So a thank you to everyone who's offered sponsorship and wanted to sponsor our episodes and maybe showcase their products. I really appreciate that. We all appreciate that. But it is because we owe nobody anything that really allows for the kind of authenticity we've been able to provide. And honestly, this is what got me fired up with the platform at the very beginning, was that there was no filter, right? There wasn't even the filter of like time or editing. When you have like blogs and stuff, you can at least edit things. But with live video, it's so much more raw. You just mic up and you share your truth, right? Not having to run topics by sponsors or partners or people who have invested, never having to edit anything is what has allowed this show to be as honest, authentic as it can possibly be. And above all else, we want to maintain that. So we will not be accepting sponsorships. We're going to keep doing it just like this. This made it, by the way, a very slow grow. Like back in the day, the fact that, early on when we had some folks who were offering to partner, the fact that we never said yes to any of those things certainly slowed our initial growth, but it is what has allowed this to be as true, sincere, and authentic as it possibly could be. I don't even see the titles in the vast majority of cases. Every now and then someone will shoot a thing and say, what do you think about this? But I never see the content. So it's truly coming at you from the faculty, from their hearts, straight at you, unfiltered. And that component, I think, makes it a bit unique. And we want to make sure that we continue to offer that. Number two, we're going to keep leaning into the challenging conversations, right? Recently, they've surrounded diversity, they've surrounded COVID. The topics are going to change over the years, but our willingness to bring our voice to them will not. Now, importantly, the show is never going to become political. This is not a political show. We've said a bunch of times now, we do not consider inclusion a political stance. It is a human stance, right? Making sure everyone gets a chance to thrive, making sure everyone gets cared for. These are not political views, right? These are human views. Doing our best to understand our role in things like COVID, right? What's driving it, where we can have a role in making things better. That is not political, that is professional, right? There's a big difference there. Those who know our team well know that we are extremely diverse in our political views. And I love that. And the great thing is, it doesn't get in the way of the show because the show is not about politics, right? That said, we are going to, when we think that professionally, right, from a human perspective, we have a responsibility to speak, we will speak. Then it kind of comes back to point number one. We don't have to ask for that permission. We can be ourselves. Our faculty can share different viewpoints on topics, right? It's always going to be the nature of the show that we're going to lean in these challenging conversations, and we know we're going to do it imperfectly. We're aware of that, and we welcome and encourage your feedback as we do the best we can, but we're not going to leave these hard areas, these hard stones unturned. Number three, you will see content on this show before you see it in our courses. So I'm sure a lot of you have caught on to this fact that this venue is where we debut a lot of our raw content, which is what makes it really fun, right? Sometimes it's a bit edgier, or maybe it's pushing into a new space that we know we want to be there, or we think we want to be there, we think we have value. A lot of times we debut that content right here because we've got a great connection with you all, right? It's kind of the home crowd, if you will, for lack of a better term. And we get invaluable feedback on, do we really have the depth of knowledge that can bring value that is substantial, that matters? We know that because when we kind of push into those new spaces, a lot of you push back, not disrespectfully, but just with questions. And that makes us really find out, do we understand at a level of depth where we're going? Can we do things that are meaningful? That feedback from you all is what really guides a lot of where can we contribute the most value next. And this platform is a wonderful spot to share that. So I think what's cool about listening to the show is that you're hearing a lot of things you don't hear in live courses or online courses, and you're hearing a lot of things that you can feel us exploring, where our passions are, where we're finding some new information and digging it up and going through it. You can kind of feel that process by being a listener on the show, and then you see the more polished version if it makes it through in the actual online and live courses. Very similarly, you will continue to meet our newest faculty on the show, right? So as our faculty are moving into the role of presenting at formal live and online courses, as they're moving in, this platform is an incredible spot to develop their presentation skills, right? To get great feedback from you all, right? On what you love about kind of the lens that they're seeing our stuff through and thinking about going out and presenting with. So you get to see our newest faculty who are moving into that role of having a larger and larger space in our formal content here on PT on Ice first. Maybe most importantly, we're going to keep listening. I can't tell you how much the words "you should do a PT on ice on that topic" have changed this company. You can only imagine how often we hear that, right? Every weekend at courses, right? In the most random spots at airports. You can't imagine how many times we've heard, "You should do a PT on ice on that." And that's the kind of stuff that gets our brains turning, right? Do we need to? Should we use this platform for that? Is that an area we can contribute value? But a lot of times you all say things that are we've never thought about before and are like, we should do that. And right, we should incorporate that into Vice, and we should put that, out on social, and we should, they're right. That's an area that we're not speaking to, that we do have a lot of value to bring in, a lot of expertise. We should powwow and see if we can come up with something. Those, please keep that coming. I think I've had a lot of you say, I'm sure you've got a million ideas, but don't worry about that first part. Just send the idea. It's never going to bother us to hear what you want spoken to, where you're curious, where you could use some guidance. If we've got value, we'll bring it. If we don't, we won't. Those pillars going forward are so important to us. And I wanted to say them here on episode 1000 as a compass to go forward into the next 1000 episodes. Before I sign off, though, I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for caring this much. Like, this is what blows my mind about our profession, about this, how this show has taken off over the years. You're so busy, right? You're hammering all day, and it's not an easy job. Like, I mean, you're in there taking heavy stories and people are struggling. You're trying to help them. You're trying to manage multiple patients. You're trying to get home and still provide for the fam and engage. And yet you tune in. You tune in because you want to get a little better. You want to get 1% better. You want to be challenged. Think about what that says about you all as an audience, as professionals, that on top of all of that, you want to do a little more. I just can't thank you enough for caring that much. That so many people tune into the show to see if they can't get a little better to serve people. It just says so much about who we all are as healthcare providers. Thank you for sharing with your friends and family. One of the coolest things about this show has been how many people, random folk, they always start off, right? I'm not a physical therapist. I'm not a chiropractor. I'm not a physician, but, right? And they've got a question about their imaging they're worried about, or can you direct me to some resources? We've got a lot of resources, and we love the fact that people who are not in the healthcare field are engaging in the show because you all are sharing it with them. And we can then point them to episodes of Pain Reframed, or episodes from other great physios or chiros or MDs on different topics that really hit that need that prevents them from getting over medicalized. Right. So now we're just capturing people before they tumble into the system. That's what it's all about. Thank you for leading from the front, for all the pictures and all the stories of you all doing the work, being about it, leading from the front, and setting an example for so many other people to follow. I would say that if you had to boil this show down to a couple main points, leading from the front and being about it is at the top, because we don't think that people need more education. We think people need more inspiration. And so many of you are taking topics from the show and living it. And as you're living it, people are following you. And as they're following you, society is changing. And this is how we're pushing back, right? And so many of you are doing it. You look at the numbers on the show, it's becoming a real movement. And maybe, just maybe, right, we've got a shot to turn this thing upside down. Certainly your leadership is a huge part of that. And finally, I hope I'm not pushing my luck here. Finally, before I sign off, I know time-wise I'm close. Thank you, faculty. Right? If I look at this show's trajectory and all that it's become, right? First of all, the different platforms that became available for live video that allowed us to capture so many more people. Alan's incredible ability to have us on every conceivable place that you could ever download a podcast. All of that has been great. Those steps up have been important, but there was no leveling up that compares to when this show went from me to us. Right, when all the other incredible faculty started getting on here and just blowing my mind with how much they knew and how much they cared. That was the change. That's when this thing went from a side project that was really fun to engage to something that I think really might wind up having a substantial change in society and the profession, was when the whole team started getting mic'd up. I will tell you right now, I have learned a heck of a lot more being a consumer of this show than I have been being a presenter on it. And my mind continues to be blown at just how incredibly talented our faculty is. So thank you, faculty. You have audience, I hope you realize when you sign up for a PT on Ice slot, it's a big deal. When you get on that Google Sheet and you sign up and you start preparing your topic, it matters so much that we perform well for you all and bring content that actually matters, that changes the way you think and behave. So the pressure's on. And thank you, faculty, for stepping up to that every single weekday morning. It just means the world to me, and I'm just thrilled to be a small part of it. So, team, 1,000 episodes. I don't know what to say. All I do know to say is we've just begun. Like from our side, the energy is just building. Right. people always say, how did you get this far? And all that we say back is, I think we've just gotten us to the starting line. Like as a team, that's our mindset, right? We're just getting organized, right? The platforms are starting to fire, right? The cylinders are turning on. We are just getting going. So the momentum is building. Thank you all for being a part of it. It is going to be the next few years that we think really might be able to change some stuff. So turn on those engines, team. It's Monday. Let's get something done. Thank you for the first 1,000. Thank you for the next 1,000. Let's put this pedal on the floor. Cheers, everybody. Have an awesome week.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.